Okay, this is the paper of today, Marine Mammals and Debris in Coastal Waters of British Columbia, Canada. It's about marine mammals and debris overlap in the waters of British Columbia. To understand the entanglement and ingestion of the debris by marine mammals, to understand the impact of a marine mammal on impact of marine debris on marine mammal, they investigated, they surveyed marine mammals and debris and overlapped their occurrence in waters of British Columbia, Canada. I read the abstract. Entanglement in and ingestion of synthetic marine debris is increasingly recognized worldwide as an important stressor for marine wildlife, including marine mammals. Studying its impact on marine wildlife population is complicated by inherently cryptic nature of the problem. The coastal waters of British Columbia, Canada provide important habitats for marine mammal species, many of which have unfavorable conservation status in the US and Canada. As a priority setting exercise, we use data from systematic line transit surveys and special modeling methods to map SC distribution of debris and 11 marine mammal species in British Columbia waters, and to identify areas of overlap. We estimated the abundance of 33,000 pieces of marine debris in the region. The area of overlap were often far removed from urban centers, suggesting that the extent of marine mammal debris interaction would be underestimated from opportunistic sightings and stranding records, and that high overlap areas should be prioritized by stranding response networks. I chose this paper from published in 2011 because we studied impact on marine debris. Impact of marine debris on marine mammal, specifically Hawaiian monk seal, and I think we should understand the impact of marine debris on marine mammals, and it includes this kind of study or other studies. So one of them, I chose this paper. I go to the figures and tables. This table shows conservation status for marine mammal species observed in other studies. This study includes harbor seal, 11 marine mammal species. They are harbor seal, elephant seal, stellar sea lion, Darth porpoise, harbor porpoise, fin whale, monk whale, humpback whale, killer whale, and Pacific white-sided dolphin, and sea otter. For these mammals, they searched records, publications, and made this table. And I underlined for highly impacted marine mammals. They are stellar sea lion, and this aggregation means some organization or some act to study impact of marine debris on marine mammals. And they search data information for this kind of organizations record or study. And I underlined highly impacted animal recorded in these studies. They are stellar sea lion, and they are regarded as imperiled and endangered, threatened, or endangered. And harbor porpoise, they have special concern or paid to this animal, and is regarded as vulnerable or threatened. For some records, they are not endangered, but for some records, they reported to the threatened animals. And fin whale, same as I told, and humpback whale is big whale, and killer whale is a big animal, and Pacific white-sided dolphin and sea otter. And this is the study map, coastal British Columbian and terrestrial waters. And the author divided into 4 areas, large regions, such as the mainland Pure, Queen Charlotte Sound, and Johnston Strait, and the Georgia Strait. This is the Queen Charlotte Island and Vancouver Island here. And they studied this area, they surveyed this area for marine mammal and marine debris with visual survey. And modeled with the data, visual survey data, they modeled for density map and overlapped the 2 kinds of density map. I mean, for marine mammal density and marine debris density. Then they overlapped with the model. And table 2, a partial list of report of entanglement or ingestion. They searched the other publications and they extracted information from the publications. And these are same animals, as I told, and except 1 case for ingestion, all animals had entanglement and ingestion records. It's natural because if they were found once or more, they are recorded. Entangling marine debris or ingestion. And debris type, let's see debris type is easily recognized. These are dangerous items for marine mammals. Strapping bands or other styrofoam is easy to swallow, and monofilament line is easy to entangle in this line, and strapping band, troll net, and gill net, and styrofoam, and fishing gear. They even mention specific name of the fishing gear. Anyway, plastic bags. And shedding, the plastic bags and shedding is like a film, and plastic straw, or maybe for sea turtles, and cardboard, bottle cap. Marine mammal can swallow this kind of cap, and other ropes, easily entangled in this kind of ropes. And this one, waxed paper, fishing hook, dangerous item for animals. With this kind of every type, they all entangled in or they swallowed. And predict this map shows predicted marine debris density. And of course, white to black is debris gradient. This circle means locations observed marine debris, and this is observation transects. And this is a survey track line. And they made this kind of heat map because they surveyed 1 grid, and with model, they modeled the density. They made a density map for each grid or each some kind of section. Then they modeled the whole area, and computer, of course, calculated the what density is this area is for this area. Then they can make this kind of heat map and what density. And this is for marine debris, and they surveyed marine debris, of course, with visual survey, and they found over 100 debris items, and they allocated origin of the debris with ICC and ocean-based and land-based ICC information. With the ICC information, they allocated origin to each debris type. but over around half of them, they cannot. They could not give some origin because sometimes we don't know the origin, and some kind of debris have both origin, like sea-based or land-based. First, about general, because it can be generated by the ship or on the land. For fishing gear, of course, is ocean-based, sea-based, and it's unknown, glass water, in the rope, ocean-based, something like that. And percentage, they cited a lot of styrofoam and plastic bottle, and most of them have, almost half of them are styrofoam. It is published in 2010, exactly 2011, and off coast of and around Vancouver Island, they have styrofoam like in Korean wars. So, some interesting fact. And I told you they surveyed with site survey for marine mammals and debris, and they made two kind of map for marine mammal and for marine debris, and they overlapped. Then they can make this overlapping layer, and this is for marine mammal, and this is for overlapping. And we can understand that this black area it means overlapping of marine mammal and marine debris, but we cannot sure entanglement or ingestion is occurred at any time, because it's just an overlapping area and they can meet each other. Possibility is high. This area is very high, but this is area very low. It's not necessarily the entanglement and ingestion occurs. They mentioned this point in the context in discussion part. For each animal, they made this kind of web. Okay. Then for some animal, for female, they live in this area, and this area, a lot of debris and a lot of females. Understand this way. And for humpback whale and killer whale, and those proposed and mink whale and Pacific white-sided dolphin. Then we can understand with this figure what animal lives in what area, in which area. Then this animal lives here and here, and the debris is here and here. This. And elephant seal, they live here, and here and here and here, and the possibility is high. Debris and marine mammal can meet. Opposites, the other. These are all figures and tables. And we have a lot of contents, not so much, but a little much. So I read just a point. And marine wildlife entanglement in or ingestion of synthetic marine debris is insidious and cryptic. It means we cannot understand, we cannot figure out clearly, because it is kind of complicated. And if death from debris entanglement or ingestion occurs at sea, documentation of an event generally requires the carcass to come close to shore to be detected and to be investigated. But it doesn't occur all the time, so they should be underestimated. Because they die at sea and sunk on the bottom of the sea, then we don't know what this event. And plastic is widely distributed in North Pacific waters, including British Columbia waters. And debris interaction, especially for marine mammal, entanglement, ingestion, have been identified as conservation threat through entanglement, ingestion, and both of them. And they has been identified as a potential contributing factor in the population decline in Hawaiian monk seal and northern fossil. It's dangerous for other animals. And a number of efforts, of course, are ongoing still up to now. And internationally, they mentioned the other committee or global effort. And actually, marine MARPOL can regulate the marine debris, but this occurred, they mentioned, this occurred only partially addressed the issue of marine debris because only a relatively small fraction of marine debris comes from ships. MARPOL controlled debris from ships, but we have a lot of origins. So it's not all, we need a lot of more international regulation, of course. And British Columbia waters provide important habitat for marine mammals. So they sought to identify where marine mammal and marine debris overlap by mapping and superimposing a sea distribution of both. I explained with the figures. And 43% of world marine mammal species are affected by either entanglement or ingestion in this time, 2011, entangled or ingestion. And they explained some important definition for risk and the vulnerability and sensitivity for understanding the impact of marine debris on animals or wildlife or some impact. I think we should understand risk and vulnerability and sensitivity. They clearly defined this explains this definition here. Risk is the probability that an undesirable event will occur, and the risk assessment refers to quantitative methods to estimate that probability. And relative risk is approximated by multiplying predicted density of animal with predicted density of the stressor. In this case, the marine debris. Then, if we multiply this density and animal and density of debris, we can understand the risk is high or not. If the debris is low, we can understand multiplication. Then, if either of one factor is low, then the product is very low. And sensitivity is the degree to which each marine mammal species is prone to debris entanglement or ingestion. We can understand this easily. Sensitivity means, just imagine, the deer. Deer has a horn, complicated horn on their head, and it's easy to entangle in some debris, but sensitivity is high, but vulnerability is very low because they don't go to they don't live in the sea, so they don't encounter the debris. Then sensitivity to marine debris is high, but vulnerability is very low. 0. Exactly, because they don't live in the sea. That means sensitivity and vulnerability. But whale and dolphin is a kind of smooth line, but they live in the sea, and they don't have horns like that, but they can be entangled. That means sensitivity and vulnerability. I think to understand the marine debris impact, we should understand. And method, I just explain this method because they published other papers for this kind of study, and they deployed their people in here. So easily we can understand this way. We have a strip visual survey and line survey. Strip survey means we have 100 or 200 scale here, and we here at I'm here at the ship, and the width is fixed, and ship goes this way, and I detect the debris or animal. Then it's a strip visual survey.
Line.
This is the length and this is the width, and width is fixed. Then strip visual survey, but line survey is different. Here the authors explains line survey is more relatively accurate. They recommend the line survey. Line survey means before starting this survey, they measure how can I see how long, how far before the survey. I'm here and I detect debris here, then exactly they measure this length, and with this data I detect the debris and tell the recorder. Then they use my something like eyesight ability. They don't fix the length. Just when I detect the debris, they record the width. That kind of survey is line survey, and they adopted the line survey in this study, and they record debris and animal. That's the method, and with this data, they get 10-degree cell, and within the cell, they record the data, and they surveyed many grid. With this data, they estimated debris density and marine mammal density. That's all for the method. Understand? Okay. I'll skip go to the, and I told you the area, 4 area on the map. Then I go to the result, and this is for equation for 1 point. But debris survey, they don't calculate the depth because the debris is on the surface. But for animal, marine mammals, they measured like volume because they live in the water, not surface. That's difference. And they modeled this kind of equation for marine mammal. And the result, they cited 119 debris, and they cite within 100 meter, they cited 119 debris, and it is 27%. And debris mean density of debris 1.48, and highest in the mainland field, upper part, and this part is Johnston Strait is lowest, and upper part is highest. If you remember the map, here. This is high, and this here is low. Here is high too. This is the density, debris density. And composition, styrofoam is 48%, followed by plastic bottles and plastic bags. And except for styrofoam, they don't find fishing gear. They mentioned for this fishing gear because they are under the water or on the bottom. So they couldn't find fishing gear. And we saw already this figure and risk map. They mentioned risk map. I told you this with the figures. And the risk map means that they always encounter each other. The possibility is high, and the same black means does not mean same probability. Because this, I mean, we cannot compare this kind of figure and this kind of figure. This map is specific for each animal. It's not relative. This is not relative to this figure. I mean, we can easily understand that this is 80% here and 100% here, but this map, this is most black color means 80% and 5% means 5% is relative to each other. They explain that point in this part. And, for discussion, they found the important fact. Debris is majority of debris was estimated to occur in the largest distinct water body of in Queen Charlotte Basin stratum. It is upper part of the British Columbia, and populated area, I mean human populated area is on the lower island, Vancouver Island here, but the debris is high here. They mentioned at this point. And the styrofoam is by far the most common item, and plastic bags and others. Plastic strip material, stripping band was rarely observed, but they noticed because animal can be entangled in that kind of debris. Yeah, it's continued to this sentence. This often reported constricting the next opening page. And I told you this one. Other than styrofoam is not rarely seen. And same fact, the debris density. And this density is high compared with other studies in 1997. Matsumura Nasu surveyed entire North Pacific and South Pacific, and in the accumulated zone, I mean North subtropical gyre, they found this kind of low density, but here 1.48 is much higher than this figure, and this explained. This is 1997, and this study conducted in 2011. And if you compare the mean density, the density increased at a rate of at least 25% per year. Then this fact can reflect the density is increased, and the different survey methods were adopted for each survey. The two possibilities are here, and with this fact, they mentioned this highlights the need for standardized method in field protocols in every survey. Recently, I reviewed a visual survey. Of course, each survey method is not harmonized worldwide, but relatively harmonized for this visual survey. Visual survey, they mentioned macro debris larger than 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters, sometimes 20 centimeters, something like that. But which survey? Usually, we define macro debris rather than 2.5. I mean, relatively, visual survey methodology is not harmonized. So it should be harmonized to compare the data. And over this fact, I already told you, remote area is highly polluted by marine debris, and overlapping area doesn't mean the entanglement and the ingestion occurs all the time. The possibility is high rather than other areas, and they extracted a high risk area. That area is here. This area. And I searched Google Map. Here is black, so highly. This area have high possibility. And here they mentioned this kind of areas. 4 areas is high. They have highest risk, and they mentioned this study highlight where the debris and the marine mammal interaction is occurs most likely. It doesn't mean how much, because the overlapped map with the density data with marine debris and marine mammal. They don't count the instant of the encounter. So this study can suggest that this area and that area have high risk, but they cannot tell about how much. And finally, they mentioned about the needs for centralized database. And in US National Marine Fisheries Service, Marine Mammal Health and Strengthening Program, and Canada's Pacific region also gather data into the database, but still no national database on marine mammal debris interaction yet exists. So for better understanding, to understand the impact of marine mammal and interaction with marine debris, they need some sophisticated database. And finally, they mentioned about the budget. For this study, they need adequate funding for trending program. And in conclusion, they don't yet have sufficient data to estimate mortality rate due to the debris entanglement ingestion from opportunistic samples. So they need more research And they mentioned important point, mitigation impact to people population become threatened will be easier than waiting for population decline to be detected. Identifying causal factors and then trying to reverse it. It means before some impact occurs, we have to do something to mitigate this kind of impact. That's all. I finish my presentation.
Thank you very much, Jong-soo.